Hello everybody. I'm going to start a little series. It's going to be talking about movies that I like. The first one I'm going to do today is horror movies, which is the genre that I've known and loved since I was 6 years old. I started watching horror movies. So I really hope you like this. I'm just going to talk a little bit about them. We can talk more in the comments if you're interested. I'm going to keep it going though. I want to do more horror movie ones. I want to talk animated movies. I want to talk Netflix movies, HBO, like, let's just talk. Let's talk. All right, so today I have a few different categories I'm going to do just like 3 randos that you may or may not have heard of these movies, and I think you should try them if you haven't. So first we're going to talk French horror films. If you've never seen a French horror film, you are missing out. Like, this is it. If you want mind fucks, if you want weird ass shit, gross, disturbing horror, stuff that will make you think. And yes, there's subtitles. So if you don't like that, these may not be for you. But if you're a horror connoisseur, you will love these. The first one I want to talk about is Martyrs. This movie came out in 2008. It is messed up. It's basically like a 2-part film, but it all follows the storyline. Like, a little girl gets captured. She gets out at the beginning. She goes to an orphanage. She makes a friend. She has like nightmares and a whole bunch of anxiety and panic because of what had happened to her when she was little. And so later, when they get older and they get out of the orphanage, like, she finds this family that she thinks did this to her, and it's kind of the aftermath of that. Now, it's more complicated than that. Crazy stuff happens. I cannot highly recommend this movie. Of all the French movies that I have, more than any, Martyrs. Not the remake that was made like 2 or 3 years ago. The English remake sucks. Don't watch it. Not worth your time. And if you watched it and hated it, watch this movie. It will blow your mind. There's like cult stuff. There's debauchery. I mean, it's a mind fuck. Watch it. It's delicious. The next one, don't watch this when you're pregnant. I watched it well before I ever had my children. But this one will mess you up. It is called Inside. This one came out 2007. It follows a lady at the beginning. She gets into a car accident with her husband. Her husband dies, but she still has a baby, and it's Christmas time, and kind of what happens to her pregnant on Christmas. Like, she's supposed to give birth to this baby in like the next couple days or a day. She's very unhappy. Someone comes to the house and is trying to get inside and is trying to get her. And the ending will shock you. The lady, not the lady that plays the main character, but the other lady that's trying to get into the house, is a really famous French actress, and I'm pretty sure this was like her first horror movie, and the acting is phenomenal. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. Inside. Watch it. The last one in the French trilogy that I picked today is Frontiers. This was part of the 8 films to die for in the After Dark Horror Fest. I believe they had like 2 or 3 horror fests. This one came out also in 2007. It's during a revolution in Paris, France, and I'm not really big into a lot of goings on in the world. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at this. Please let me know if you've seen this movie and this is like, this revolution thing happened recently, or it's just a made-up movie thing. I didn't really delve into it. I just enjoyed the movie. But it's like a group of friends, a brother and sister as well. They're trying to get out of the French Revolution, or the revolution thing, and all this chaos going on in Paris. They go to the countryside. They end up on this farm. There's stuff with Nazis. There's stuff with cannibalism. There's stuff with incest. Crazy shit happens. I could not more highly recommend Frontiers. It's delicious. I would probably call all these movies delicious, but you definitely need to check them out. Those 3 great French horror. If you've never tried it before, get past the subtitles. It is so good. Like, I don't even know how these films are not bigger than they are. All right. The next category I'm going to go into is sci-fi horror. Kind of all within the last, relative years. The first one I want to talk about, I actually had to watch a couple times, but I really liked it, is Life. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal, it's got Ryan Reynolds. It's pretty cool. This came out in, I want to say it was like last year. I'm horrible. Let me double check. Sometimes these things don't say. Let's just say it was last year. Okay, sometime last year in 2017, Life came out. It's really good. It's astronauts in space. They get some moon dust or particles or something from Mars, I believe it is. They find a little bit of life. You know how there is life on Mars. And so they're cultivated this life. This life starts growing at a rapid rate, and everything that occurs because of that. It's thrilling. It's fun. All the acting's pretty good. Life, really, really good. I consider it a horror movie because a lot of horror-ish things happen. The next one is one of my favorite sci-fi horror movies of all time. Event Horizon. Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill. Ridiculous. This one came out in 1997. So quite a while ago. So if you're young, you should really watch this. It's amazing. Basically what happens is there's a ship called the Event Horizon. It's supposed to try to find new planets, find people on it. It goes missing. So this other group our government heard a distress signal from the Event Horizon after many years of it being gone. It's all of a sudden back on the map. So this team with Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne are going to go there, see if anyone's still on board, see if they can salvage this huge ship, and then figure out what to do from there. Basically, they get on board. No one's on there. They're figuring out what's happening. It's a lot of mental stuff. There's a lot of, I don't want to ruin the movie if you haven't seen it. It is so good. And Sam Neill's character, he created this thing that basically, on the Event Horizon, no other ship has this or had it since in this movie time period, that basically creates a wormhole. So, yes, I highly recommend Event Horizon. Give it a shot. It is super creepy. I like thinker movies. Not always, but sometimes. The next one is relatively new. 2011, Area 51. I do believe this is on Netflix. The other ones, not so sure. Event Horizon I think is on Netflix too, so if you have that. Area 51 is definitely on Netflix. This one's really good. It follows a couple guys, and a guy is at a party. He's been really into alien research. Pretty sure he gets abducted. They don't really say. They just kind of allude to it. And so he's kind of on a quest to go to Area 51 and kind of figure out what's going on and why this happened to him. And they meet up with a girl and they get in, and it's kind of everything that happens leading up to and when they're there. It's really good. It's fun. It's lighthearted. It is not the best horror movie made. It's all first person, shaky cameras, but it's fun, and I think it's worth a watch. Area 51, give it a try. I have two more trilogy. Well, they're not really trilogies, but trilogy suggestions. So the next one is kind of Offkilter movies. I think you can see all of these on Netflix as well if you're interested. I know most people don't buy movies. I buy movies. I'm crazy. I've always bought movies. I have tons. The first one is Afflicted. Now, this one I believe is also set in Paris. Well, it's kind of set in Europe. I think it ends in Paris. But it's two friends, and they go, one of the friends finds out he has an incurable disease, some kind of brain tumor or something. I can't remember exactly what. So they decide to go on this big trip, and they're recording it all for their friends and family, and they kind of upload it or whatever periodically so they can see their adventures. And they're just kind of traveling, having fun across Europe. He wants to do this kind of before he dies or gets really sick or whatever. And he meets a girl, something weird happens, and a lot of stuff happens after that, and I don't want to ruin it, but it's super creepy, and after they meet the girl and weird things, like he gets superpowers kind of, but after he's kind of getting these superpowers and they're increasing over time, you kind of figure out what's really wrong, and he finds the girl and figures out what happened. So don't want to ruin it for you, but Afflicted, super good. Another one that I really liked initially, I think it's really slow moving, it's really weird, Offkilter, again, I think you can see it on Netflix, Starry Eyes. So this is about a girl who's an aspiring actress in Hollywood. I think this is a really good, it's really in the vein of like David Lynch and David Cronenberg. It's a thinker. It's kind of slow moving. The ending is totally worth it, and there's some really weird, creepy shit that happens in between, but it's kind of this girl, and she just wants to be an actress. She wants to be a famous actress. She wants to do stuff. And it's kind of her getting there and what she has to do, not do, and things she has to give up to kind of get to that point. It's super creepy. I highly recommend it. Starry Eyes. And finally, and this one doesn't really creep me out now, but the first time I watched it, like kind of Blair Witchy, creep you out kind of style. And these are all like found footage ones, these last three. Found a lot of found footage movies over the last like 5 to 10 years. They've been really popular. This would be Mr. Jones. Who is Mr. Jones? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. But basically, the premise is a couple, I don't know if they sell their stuff or what, but they basically are renting out like a cabin, house, in a woodsy, far off area, for like a year, so that the husband can like make his documentary he's always wanted to make. So she's like supporting him or whatever. He kind of comes across like the legend of Mr. Jones and what's going on in this, kind of follows suit. And again, I don't want to ruin it for you. It's really creepy. It goes along. You do find out about Mr. Jones. It is quite a twist. Really creepy. Stuff happens at night. Very like Paranormal Activity. Mr. Jones. Really good. Alright. These last ones are quite a bit older. If you're a horror connoisseur, you've totally watched these movies. If not, that's okay. Try them. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's not good or fun to watch. The first one is actually part of a quadrilogy, so 4 movies in the series. It is called Cube. I think I watched this in high school. Let's see, it came out in, oh my god, I don't even know. It's old. It's like the 90s, early 90s, mid 90s. That's when this came out. You could Google it. I'm not going to bother. You're an adult or a human being with a smartphone or a computer. Google it. But basically these people wake up in this cube, not all together. They end up finding each other. They're trying to figure out what's going on, how to get out, what's happened to them. Did someone put them here? Why are they there? If you like math, if you like, it's slow moving, but it's really interesting and thought-provoking. So if you don't mind slow moving, if you want a new concept, Cube. Very good. This is a classic movie. I have loved this since I was so little. I wish it would say on here when this came out. Does it say? I doubt you could even find this on DVD anymore. What? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, the package design was 2005, but I know this is like late 80s, early 90s because there's Sean Astin and he's just the little baby. He's just the little baby. So this is called the Willys. There's actually 3 stories in here. If you ever watched Salute Your Shorts, like a little Chunk, this little cute Chunk kid. Sorry, it's not really focusing. He was in that. It's really good. So it's basically these kids, they're outside camping and they're telling each other stories, trying to give each other the willies. So they start off like with really short little stories, and there'll be like a little video for it of like, what's grosser than gross? And they talk about stuff like that, and then they each tell each other like a true story that happened. So each kid takes a turn, and it's these stories that's like one One of the stories about a guy who's a bug collector who's not nice to bugs and kind of a little shit. That's the Salute Your Shorts kid. Another one's about a little kid who gets picked on at school and a janitor. That's another story. And then there is another story. I think that there's another one, but they're trying to give each other the willies. It's really fun. I thought this was spooky when I was little. I still love to watch it. Perfect around Halloween time. The Willies, if you can get your hands on it. All right, and last but not least, this is kind of a cheat. The Puppet Master collection. So, this has 9 movies. Puppet Master, people that know me are going to hate me, probably is more than 9 movies. It's quite a lot, but it's at least 9. These are all good. Every single one of them. These were all from the 80s. The last one or two, I think, is early 90s. And if you really want some fun, I don't know, I haven't watched this in years, but there's that show, God, no, I'm not going to do it. Okay. What is it called? It's a reality TV show, and it's about Beverly Hills. Like, one of the housewives of Beverly Hills has her own spin-off show. Put it in the comments. I can't remember. I don't care right now. But one of the bartenders on the show, whose name is Tom Sandoval, oh my, he is in the 9th movie, Axis of Evil, as a bad guy. And it's amazing! Tom Sandoval. You're probably not watching this and never will, but if you do, aces, bro. You should be an actor, okay? But all the people in the reality show, not in the movies, you know, want to be actors or rich and famous or, I don't know, models or whatever. But yeah, Tom Sandoval is a person on that show, and he happens to be in a movie, and I didn't realize that until I rewatched these the other day. These are just really fun. This guy, basically what they're about, I mean, they're all different, but like the whole premise is that there's a guy and he created these puppets and he somehow put kind of souls into them and they do his bidding. And in the first movie, he dies and he kind of saves the puppets. And in each of these movies, like different things, the puppets are revenging him or helping someone else through him or whatever. Or it goes back in time to before he died. They're really, really good. It's really, really fun. Right now, I mean, you would not be scared by these movies. Maybe if you were like under 10. But they're just really fun to watch. And I think that classic horror is a genre that should not be missed. So, Puppet Master, try any of them. I highly recommend the first one. And watch the 9th one, Axis of Evil, if you want to see Tom Sandoval's acting. Delicious. Anyways, so that's my first movie one, talking about movies, just really brief summaries. I'm going to do more movie ones. I want to talk about the newer Planet of the Apes. This is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I want to talk about other trilogies I like real trilogies like Lord of the Rings. I want to talk about Star Wars. We'll get there. If there's anything you want to talk about, let's talk about it. And I can get more in depth. I just kind of wanted to throw this one out there and see if anyone even cared about listening about my opinions on movies. And you don't have to. I just like talking about it. So have a good night, and I hope you subscribe.